Hi, everybody. My name's Jack. I'm the marketing officer at the Edinburgh campus. I'm just here to introduce Francesca Soutter, who is going to give a presentation on the animal welfare science and the veterinary biosciences programs at our Edinburgh campus.
Right. Okay, so hopefully you'll be able to see my slides. Someone tell me if you can see them okay?
Yeah, we're good.
Right. Okay, so welcome to a presentation today about our animal biosciences degrees. This is my email address here, francesca.soutter@sruc.ac.uk. So if you have any questions at all that you wanted to ask, you're welcome to put them in the Q&A, but equally, if you have any things you want to email, just send them to me afterwards. Okay. So a bit of an introduction to SRUC, depending on how well you guys know us or not. We're across Scotland as an organisation. We have multiple campus locations across Scotland. We also have a number of farms, consulting offices, veterinary practices and research centres. So we're really quite distributed across Scotland. So our animal biosciences team are based at King's Buildings in Edinburgh. And if you came to do one of our either animal welfare science or veterinary biosciences degree, you would be based in Edinburgh. Our teaching team consists of over 20 lecturers, and we work across multiple different disciplines. And of course, we're supported by a really sort of fantastic administrative and technical teams who help us keep everything running nice and smoothly. We have a lovely campus. I know this is an online session today, but I would very much encourage you to come along to open day in person and have a look around and get to meet us in person if you have the opportunity. Okay, so a little bit about our programs. So from September 2026, we will be offering 2 degree programs, Veterinary Biosciences and Animal Welfare Science. And I'll come back to tell you a little bit more about the difference between those 2 programs, but they're quite well intertwined. And then there will be also the option to stay on for an additional year at the end of your program to do an integrated master's, which will be mostly based within the workplace. And again, I'll come back later on in the slide deck to discuss that a little bit further. So what are the aims of our programs? Broadly, it's to provide you with a really comprehensive knowledge of animal biology and of animal systems. And along the way, we hope that we'll develop your critical thinking and problem-solving skills, help you develop your knowledge, your skills, and your confidence across a wide range of different topics. And finally, by the end of our degree, you'll be ready to address the scientific and societal challenges in your chosen field. So in year 1 and year 2, veterinary biosciences and animal welfare science share a lot of modules. In fact, all their modules. And what the year 1 and 2 does, it gives you a really solid grounding in veterinary bioscience and animal welfare science topics. So that's everything from cell biology to evolution to thinking about different bacteria and viruses, how we manage our animals, an introduction to behaviour and welfare, how we nutrition, genetics, and then sort of that rounded off with sort of scientific and sort of professional skills. Then when it comes to year 3, you will either go on to do veterinary bioscience or to do animal welfare science. And the main difference between the two is that veterinary bioscience will look at you will further investigate the biological science that underpins animal health, whereas animal welfare science is more about investigating the biology of animal behavior, emotion, and welfare. And by the end, I've kind of said it already, we want you to be able to explore what that means in terms of issues around the world. So in animal welfare, that's more focused on ethics and conflicts within animal welfare issues. Whereas within veterinary bioscience, it's more thinking about sort of those big global challenges in animal health, which are sort of linked with food security, public health, biodiversity. So that is the main difference between the two. One nice aspect of the course is both courses are quite broad in nature, and there is the option to move to the other degree. So if you enter at year 1 on veterinary biosciences, but you realise by the end of your second year that you absolutely love all the behaviour and welfare modules, and that's really what you see yourself doing, then there's option to move to the animal welfare science degree, and vice versa. So we have that nice flexibility where you can sort of choose your path depending on what you find you're interested in the most. So how does the course run? So it's a 4-year degree full-time, or a 5-year degree if you stay on for the integrated masters. But there are a couple of exit points if that's something you choose to do. So after year 1, you will be able to leave with a certificate of higher education in veterinary biosciences or animal welfare science. And then there's also the option to leave after your year 3 with an ordinary degree if you don't want to stay on for the honours year. So there is a little bit of flexibility in terms of when you leave the course and how long you stay. Okay, so what I'll cover first is sort of what you'll be taught. So in terms of how is the programme going to be delivered, what are the different subject areas, and what are the different subject modules year by year. So the programme is delivered over 4 years if you're studying full-time, but there is the option to do the degree part-time as well. So that would be over 8 years if you're running sort of 0.5 for your part-time. Typically, you have 6 different modules per year, and that is run over 2 semesters. So semester 1 runs from September to December, and then semester 2 runs from January to sort of mid-April, and maybe the beginning of May by the time you've done your sort of final assessments. In years 1 and 2, as I've said already, all your modules will be shared, and then progressively as you move through the degrees, there are less shared modules. So there are some shared modules in year 3 between veterinary biosciences and animal welfare science, and then actually when it comes to final year, the only modules that you have in common are the honours project and a sort of topical issues module that will cover sort of the big issues of welfare and veterinary bioscience. The time commitment that we expect from you is sort of 35 to 40 hours per week. That's if you're full-time. Not all of that will be hands-on teaching time. Our teaching is typically condensed into 2 to 3 days per week. And we've done that really in response to student feedback. So we have quite a lot of students who travel long distances or who have other commitments such as work. And so on. So we try to have our teaching condensed into sort of 2 to 3 days per week. And sort of we also, because we're cognizant of people travelling long distances, we tend to typically start our classes at 9:30 a.m. just to give a little bit more time for travelling in. So hopefully there's a little bit of flexibility there to work around other commitments. But we do expect that you'll be sort of working on your coursework yourself outside of those 2 to 3 days. So that you can really get the most out of your experience. Subject areas. So both programmes are built around these sort of 6 key subject areas. And depending on the course, we sort of have a little bit more emphasis on some rather than others. So these 6 key subject areas are infectious disease, animal production, animal physiology, ecology and conservation, ethics and the human-animal relationship, and behaviour and welfare. So if you're on the animal welfare degree, as you sort of progress, you will have more times on ethics and the human-animal relationship and behaviour and welfare. Whereas if you're doing the veterinary bioscience degree, you'll have more of a focus perhaps on infectious disease and a bit more on sort of animal production and on conservation as well. All of the subject areas are underpinned by essential practical and research skills. So that's something we really want to embed within all our programs. So we want you to be able to do data analysis. We want you to feel comfortable handling animals. We want you to be comfortable working in the lab. And also we want you to sort of work on your transferable skills, communication, teamwork, writing effectively in a scientific language. All those things will run throughout our modules to really get you up to speed and have you come out as sort of confident, well-rounded scientists, really. Okay, so this is a little bit dry, so I'm sorry, but just so you have an idea about what's going to run within the different subject modules year by year. So in year one, we actually have 5 modules, and that's because we have a large sort of animal management module, which will run over 2 semesters. And the animal management covers everything from behavior to how we feed our animals to animal husbandry, so how we look after and care for our animals, both in production systems, but also companion animals, horses, and wildlife as well. And then we have a sort of a basic grounding in biology. So we'll cover cell biology, ecology and evolution, pathogens, so that's viruses and bacteria and things that cause diseases, and the immune system. And then finally, scientific and academic skills. So that's teaching you how to read a scientific paper, how do you do some basic data analysis in Excel, how do you do some basic lab work and follow a protocol. So that's going to encompass all of those things. If we move on to year 2, the modules continue to be shared, and from year 2 onwards, we're back to the sort of 6 modules, and you'll hopefully start to see that we cover those different pillars. So you'll start to cover different body systems within animal physiology systems, so you'll do that in years 2 and year 3. You'll start to understand more about infectious disease and how the body systems of animals interact with those infectious diseases and how they co-evolve. You'll cover nutrition and genetics in animal feeding and breeding, the sort of early concepts within that. You'll be introduced to sort of more advanced animal behavior. You'll explore how animals interact with humans in animals in society. And we'll continue to develop your scientific and professional skills through sort of portfolio work, and we'll also start to look at different careers options within that professional skills module. From year 3 onwards, the 2 courses do start to diverge. So you maintain some of the same modules. So animal physiology and how the body works is obviously integral to whether you're going to become a veterinary bioscientist or an animal welfare scientist. So you will cover the rest of the body systems that you haven't covered earlier on. And we'll continue to develop those research skills and career skills. Everyone will do conservation and sustainability, so that will focus on ecosystems and our natural world. And you'll start to look at animal welfare in more depth, so that will be for both modules, for both degree programs, sorry. For veterinary biosciences, you will continue to focus on infectious disease dynamics. So that's really looking at the epidemiology of disease and how disease systems interact with one another. And you'll take a deeper dive into genetics and nutrition and how this can be used to sort of enhance our production effectively. In animal welfare science, you will start to look more at ethical problems in animal welfare and behavior, and you will start to look at sort of behavioral ecology, so how behavior works within ecosystems. And then finally, for year 4, you can see that the 2 degrees diverge quite a lot. So they have a shared honours project. So I'm going to come back to the honours project in the next slide. There is also a shared module on global issues in animal science, which is really looking at sort of hot topics of the day. So everything from antimicrobial resistance to animal welfare, new animal welfare legislation that is being proposed at the moment within Parliament, to animals being used in different countries, in different systems. So it's really covering everything that is topical for the moment, pandemics, everything that you could think of that is relevant at the time. For veterinary biosciences, you will carry on looking at infectious disease in our disease surveillance and control module. You will look at smart animal production, so looking at that interaction between health, genetics, and nutrition, and how we can effectively produce our animals in a smart way. And finally, take a deeper dive looking at climate change, so both the impact of climate change on our animals and how animals are sort of contributing to climate change. And then for animal welfare science, you will take a deeper dive into learning and cognition, so how animals learn and perceive information, and looking at how you can effectively improve animal welfare within animal systems and how you can influence human behavior change. For animal welfare science, you'll also have an elective choice, and that will be either from veterinary biosciences or from other relevant programs, relevant modules from other programs. So for example, this year we've had some of our students doing one of our environmental science modules focused on ecological principles. Okay, so I said I would go into a little bit more detail about honours project, and that's because it's quite a substantial component of year 4. So this is the opportunity to undertake some independent research of your own choosing. And at the end of the year, you produce a written dissertation, and then you present your findings to the teaching staff and to your classmates. The benefits of doing a big project is it allows you to really explore and focus on a research area you're interested in. So bearing in mind that this will be in your final year, it allows you to sort of move towards perhaps what you want to do after graduation. It allows you to partner with world-leading researchers. So we have a really strong team, and all our teaching staff are research active on the programme. So you have the opportunity to work with researchers in your chosen field and sort of build your network as well. You will develop and demonstrate critical thinking. So above all, this is really a great time to sort of bring everything together from the previous years and think about sort of next steps in your sort of chosen topic. And then, of course, it lets you to consolidate all those transferable skills that you've been working on. So writing, but also project management and communication. And probably most importantly of all, self-management. So learning how you work best. So you will be allocated a project supervisor who will look after you. But it's equally important at this stage in your degree to be sort of managing your own time and figuring out what works best for you. So it's a really great part of the final year. What could your honours project be on? The honest answer is a completely wide range of project topics. We have everything from people doing lab-based projects to looking at animal welfare through video watching, or even watching animals in person. We've had students go to the zoo in previous years to look at animal behaviour. We've had students doing microbiology projects and genetics projects. We've got a number of students this year doing social science projects and looking at how different voices affect how we handle and manage animals. And we have a number of projects in ethics as well. So it's really very dependent on your area of interest, and we try to match students with a project that's going to suit them and a sort of something that they're going to get their teeth into over the course of the year. And finally, a little bit more information about the integrated masters. So like I said before, this is an optional year 5. So this will allow you to stay on for a 5th year, and you will undertake a 6-month work placement at a sort of recognised sort of partner industry. So that could be everything from a nutrition company to a lab company to, you know, potentially even places like the zoo. And this will allow you to sort of develop your workplace skills and give you a real sort of experience in the workplace. There will also be some professional development alongside it. So there will be a module to sort of support you develop your skills, what you need within that workplace. So that's going to be very tailored to what you need, depending on the type of placement you're undertaking. And then finally, there will be the option to choose a top module from one of our MSc programs. So perhaps you're doing an animal welfare placement at a policy think tank, then maybe you would decide that the most appropriate module for you would be one from our animal behaviour and welfare MSc programme. Or if you're working at a nutrition company, you might decide that you're going to undertake an elective from the animal nutrition masters. Okay, so we've covered what you're going to be taught. The next thing I'm going to look at is how you're going to be taught. So who will be teaching me? How am I going to be assessed? What else is going on? So I've sort of alluded to this already, but it's just worth saying that you're going to be taught by a really large teaching team. So we have over 20 researchers that contribute to this teaching programme. Everyone is active in research and all in a wide range of different research areas, so nutrition, behaviour and welfare, physiology, infectious disease, genetics. It's a really broad team, and there's opportunities therefore to really get to grips with a wide range of different topics and be taught by people who really know what they're talking about, and who will give you the sort of most up-to-date and relevant information to sort of set you off into the workplace thereafter. What about the teaching approach? So our focus is very much on active learning. So whilst there'll be some lecture-based learning, as you might expect, we're also really keen on getting you guys doing things through active learning. So that can be everything from doing some in-class activities or in-class games to doing sort of case studies that are relevant to the sort of jobs that you do afterwards, tutorials and discussions, getting you working on your communication skills. We do lots of practicals, so that's everything from taking you out to farms and doing animal handling to working in the lab. We do lots of field trips. We'll pop you on a bus and take you out to different farms and to different sort of local businesses that are related to our course. And yeah, the visits are both to our own farms and external farms, and also to a wide range of different industries as well. So we really have a sort of large number of trips and make the most of taking you out so that you can put everything into context and have a sort of better grounding in the topic area. So if you've come from a sort of urban background, you're sort of based in the city, you've never set foot on a farm, we'll make sure that you sort of have a wide range of experience whilst you're here so that you feel that you have a good grounding on all different aspects of animal science. So next, how will I be assessed? So we typically have 2 assessments per module, and maybe you're thinking, oh goodness, is this going to be a lot of exams? And the honest answer is we don't have a lot of exams within this course. It's a really wide-ranging types of assessments, and that's because we recognise that whilst exams can be useful to sort of teach some of your key skills, we also want you to develop skills that will be useful for the workplace. So whether that's working on a data set, or maybe writing a policy document, or generating a lab protocol, we're very cognizant that actually it's this wide range of skills that's important beyond that sort of exams. So we want to have you prepared for the workplace. Where we can, we'll give you some choice and autonomy in choosing what you're interested in. So for example, in physiology, in year 2, at the moment we do an assessment that allows you to talk about the different physiology systems, so talking about the cardiovascular system or the gastrointestinal system, and you can pick a species that you're interested in and tell us all about how a giraffe has a heart that is capable of pumping blood all the way up its very long neck to reach its brain, for example. Or if you're more interested in reptiles, how are they adapted for their environment? So we're really keen on giving you a choice to pursue what you're interested in when you can. What about the campus? So Edinburgh King's Buildings campus, like I said before, there is a sort of in-person open day coming, and please come and see us if you're interested in coming. It's a lovely campus. We have over 500 students at SUC in Edinburgh, and we have a lovely sort of number of refurbished rooms and labs that are really great to work in, and we have research labs as well, which will allow you to sort of work in a sort of really nice up-to-date facility. As I've said before, we have a sort of expert teaching staff that are all active within research and really good industry links within the institution as well. What about the facilities? So these are just a few little pictures here. We're very lucky to have our own farms very nearby. So just out sort of in the Pentland Hills, we have a sheep unit, a beef unit, a pig unit, and a chicken unit. So there'll be lots of opportunities to go onto farms. And we have fantastic new teaching labs and a lot of really quite nice equipment within our research labs as well that you'll be given the opportunity to use and make the most of. How will I be supported? This is the one that I really want to emphasize to you all. We have a small cohort size at SRUC, so we really get to know you as students. So we get to know each and every one of you. If you're not feeling great or things aren't going so well, we will notice and get in touch with you and reach out. And it's one of the nicest things of working here is that we really get to know you all and you get to know us as well. All of you will be allocated a personal tutor when you arrive, so that's sort of like a point of contact if things are going well or things are going bad, so they can help you with your sort of study skills and, you know, sort of working towards getting what you want, and maybe putting you in touch with different work experience places, but they're also there to support you if things aren't going as well. We also have a really strong student support team who can provide both pastoral and academic support, and are really a fantastic team. We also have the option for flexible study. So sometimes we find that some students find that full-time is too much for them and they need to either move to part-time or need to take a break in their studies, and all those options are available as well and will help support you if life starts to get in the way of your studies as well. How will I be prepared for the workplace? So I briefly mentioned this when we were talking about the different modules, but we have our second and third year module that will incorporate talks from industries, and this gives you an opportunity to sort of meet employers and give you opportunity to network. And there will be a work experience placements between years 2 and 3, which will enable you to sort of get to know local employers. So these are some pictures from different students that have done different projects. So that's Freya with an owl when she was working at Edinburgh Zoo doing her work experience in the summer. We have got Steph in the top right. She was working on a bat project. Chloe with the alpacas, and Kayla in the bottom left-hand corner doing a lab-based project. So there's lots of opportunities to get stuck in with different work experience placements and sort of provide get you sort of ready for workplace. We have a careers advisory service as well who can help you with career support as you go along too. And finally, we'll have the opportunity for a work-based integrated masters in year 5. So if you want to sort of get to know work placement in more detail, that there's an option to stay on for your integrated masters and undertake that. What about potential careers? Well, these are really, really broad, because as you can see, the programme is really broad. So we have people that will go on to become ecologists. We have people who go on to work at the zoo, people who go on to become welfare advisors, geneticists, people who go into teaching and education, people who go on to work in the lab or in research. Some people become agricultural consultants, and some people work, for example, in science policy or for government. So there's lots of opportunities depending on what you're interested in and also what you're good at. And this is something that over the course of the 4 years, hopefully you can develop and figure out what you want to do. We also have lots and lots of links with potential employers. So these are just some of the employers that come and speak to us and give talks. And these are some of the employers that students have gone into in previous years. Some students go into further study as well, and go into masters and other things like that too. So there's a really wide range of different employers, and we're in a good position that we have really strong links with industry. So a number of our teaching staff are working with these companies as parts of projects. So there's lots of opportunities to get you involved and get you networking with these companies depending on what you wanted to do. Additional opportunities. So we've had a number of students undertake funded summer projects in years 2 and year 3. There's also the opportunity to undertake placements with our agricultural consultants. We have a 1-year paid traineeship in our biomarkers lab, which is available after year 3 or year 4, or even up to 1 year after graduation. We have a veterinary diagnostics lab not too far away that's part of SRUC as well, and a number of students have undertaken paid part-time work there during their studies, and we have a number of our graduates that have gone on to work there afterwards as well. We also have lots of contacts with commercial organisations and non-governmental organisations, so charities, and there's opportunities to sort of getting placements at different times of the year as well, depending on what you're interested in. This is a little side note for Edinburgh. So if you haven't visited Edinburgh, I would definitely encourage you to do so. It's a really fantastic city. It's nice and small, so actually you can get about very easily. And it's the sort of hub of culture, but also of sport. We've got Scottish rugby. There's lots of nice places to go for walks. So Arthur's Seat is in the middle of the city, and the Pentlands Hills are to the south. King's Buildings campus is sort of on the south end of the city, but only within really 2 to 3 miles of the city centre, probably within 2 miles of the city centre. So it's quite easily accessible, and you have all this amazing stuff really on your doorstep. So I can't underestimate talk up enough the how great a place Edinburgh is. In terms of accommodation, we don't have our own accommodation, but a number of our students make use of the private rental sector for years 1 and year 2, and accommodation tends to be quite central, so there's lots of easy sort of bus links to and from the campus. And students typically use this initially, and then we'll move into sort of flats and so on with friends and so on. We also have a number of students who commute, and as I say, we have made accommodations to sort of allow people to sort of commute into class from quite far distances by having like a later start time and sort of condensing our time as well. Okay, so some final thoughts. This is a lovely picture from last year's graduation. And this is really where we want you to get to. We want to get to see you get to the end with those lovely smiling faces. And really, these are degree programs that will cover a really wide range of animal biology topics. So if you know that you're interested in science and you're interested in animals, but you're not entirely sure specifically what, this is a really good opportunity for you to explore and figure out what you are interested in, and at the same time sort of build your knowledge, skills, and your confidence in a really sort of supportive place, but also a great city and place to study. And finally, just that we've got good careers links, so we'll help you expand your network so we can work you towards those sort of final career goals that you have. And I'll just leave this here, but you can contact us. So if you have a look on the website, sruc.acu.ac.uk, study with us, you'll be able to find more details about the courses. And you can feel free to email me either at my private email address, or this is our sort of team email address, or give me a call. I'd be happy to take any questions. So that's it from me. I also have Kira, one of our student ambassadors here. Kira, are you here?
Hello.
Hello. I don't know if you wanted to just say a few words before we opened up for Q&A.
Yeah, so my name's Kira. I'm a 4th year applied animal science student, which is soon to be the veterinary bioscience. I'm a commuting student, so that gives you a little bit of my perspective. The course, I think, is amazing. I couldn't talk it up enough. I left high school with no idea what I wanted to do, knowing that I had an interest in animals and science. And thank goodness I applied to SRUC. The course is so hand-tailored, it's so personalised to yourself with what you're interested in, with the small cohort sizes, everybody's friends. That's never been an issue. I've never heard that being an issue. As well as getting to know all the staff and the support members, they know you, and it's such a lovely experience being in a campus where there's a great sense of community. The facilities on campus are great. We've got the garden outside and the quad, which is amazing in the summer. The King's Buildings campus, it's not far away from centre at all. You've got buses that are close by. We've got a bus stop on campus. You're not far away from train stations and things, so it's a really easy place to get to while also being out of the centre, so it's nice and quiet as well, and lots of green spaces. Yeah, content it's very broad, so you get a great idea of what you can do, and you get to find out a lot of what you like and maybe what you don't like, which is also a good thing to know. So if you've got an interest in animals or science, I would definitely recommend it. The staff here have impacted my life. I can't even say how much it's changed so much in the last 4 years. And I can't believe it's coming to an end, really. But if anyone has any questions from the student side of things, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thanks, Kira, that's great.
Okay, great. Well, we've had a whole bunch of questions come flooding in, so I'll just take them off as they've come in. Right off the bat, we've got, I saw a social media post about an animal science class going to Edinburgh Zoo. Do you work with exotic animals a lot?
So we do work with exotic animals, and there will be an opportunity to sort of explore that as part of the course. We cover a sort of range of animal biology, so we cover mammals, but we do cover sort of other species as well as exotic. So yes, I think there will be the opportunity, and if that's what you're interested in, again, as you sort of progress through the course, there'll be the opportunity. You know, if you came to 4th year and that's still what you wanted to do, there'll be the opportunity to explore that as part of a project, for example. We could put you in contact with people that do more exotics if that was what you were really interested in.
Sorry, I'll unmute myself. Classic. We have, does the animal management modules include practical husbandry handling elements, or is it purely the theory behind it?
So it includes both. So you will do the theory behind it, but we also will try to incorporate practical husbandry and handling as well. And actually, as part of our sort of new programme, we want to increase the amount of handling that we have. We have to be cognizant that we're not just handling animals for the sake of it, because for their own welfare as well, you know, having one guinea pig being handled by 50 people is not ideal for that guinea pig. But yes, we will try to incorporate as much sort of handling as is feasible, and nice to the animals too. So it's finding a balance between those two things.
Okay, and next you have a research facility in Inverness that the Centre for Epidemiology and Planetary Health are based at. Will there be an opportunity to visit this?
So we don't currently have any trips up to Ravik, but we do have really good links with them. So it may be something that we could incorporate in the future. It's mostly probably just that it takes quite a long time to get to Inverness from Edinburgh. So it's probably sort of 3-4 hours. But certainly, again, it's the same thing. So I suppose if your family's based near Inverness and that was something you were interested in doing a project in later on, then there would be the opportunity to potentially visit as well. We have done some sort of research projects in collaboration with the people that are based in Inverness as well. So yeah, I'm sure if that was something you wanted to pursue, we could facilitate that, but we don't currently have a trip just for practicalities of getting up there and sort of with it up and down within a day.
Of course. And next we have, is the course more exam-based or coursework-based? And what percentage of your final grade is the dissertation?
Yeah, so the course I would say is more coursework based than exam based. I would say it's probably 20% of our assessments maybe are exams, something in that region, and less so exams as you progress through the course as well. the regulations at the moment, so your third year contributes a small amount to your grade, and your fourth year is most of your final degree qualification. So it will be, I'm trying to think what it is. It's about a third. Your honours dissertation is about, I think, about a third of your final grade, maybe slightly less. So you do need to do a good job of it.
Next up is, how big of concern is AMR within animal populations crossing over to humans, given how closely we interact with them both through direct contact and through the food chain?
Yeah, massive. Kira's smiling in the background because she's heard us talk about this multiple times throughout the course. Yeah, it is a big sort of concern. Through both direct contact, through the environment, probably through our foodstuffs as well. And it is a concern. There's a number of researchers that are working on this across SOUC, partly because some of those questions have been answered, but there's still quite a lot of unanswered questions as well. And there's certainly concern within the veterinary industry at the moment about use of antimicrobials, and there's sort of a move to more antimicrobial stewardship as well, which is sort of using antibiotics more responsibly, so that we can sort of minimize those interactions and sort of reduce the potential for those moving across, for MR genes moving from animals to humans as well.
Okay.
Come and find out. If you do our degree, we'll talk about it lots. So we'll come back to it.
That's the sell. Love that. Right, we have 2 questions left. If anyone does have any more questions, then please fire them into the chat in the next minute or so. We have, can this course lead on to veterinary from NI?
Yeah, I think presumably from Northern Ireland, is that right?
I think so. I would imagine so. Let's go with yes.
Yes, so there is the possibility for articulation into our veterinary programme after year 1. That will depend on you you have to have a sort of minimum grades at higher or at A level if you're coming from Northern Ireland, and you need to do well within your first year for that to be something you can move across to. Currently, I think if Stephen is still on the call, he can probably answer this better than me. I think currently our veterinary degree at Aberdeen is only open to Scottish students, but I don't know whether that's something that will change in the future. So it can lead into veterinary, but I'm not sure for the moment in terms of whether we're accepting entrants from Northern Ireland. Stephen, are you still there?
Hello, sorry.
Hello.
Yes. So the BVSci program in Aberdeen, it's predominantly Scottish domiciled students. There are a small number of RUK and graduate entrants accepted every year, but because of the funding model in Scotland, like I say, we can only take a small number of students from England, Wales, and Northern Ireland. That's not to say that it's impossible to get a place if you're not Scottish domiciled, because we do have students from outside of Scotland every year.
Fantastic, thank you. We've also had a number of students, for example, do this as a first degree and then get places at other universities as well, because the vet degree at Aberdeen's only been running, was it we're into year 2 now. So we have had students go on to veterinary degrees elsewhere, but as a second degree.
All right, and the final question I have here, and this one's for Kira, I believe, is what's the work-life balance like as a student?
So SRUC, they tackle this really well. So as Fran mentioned, you're only in a couple of days a week out of the whole week. Obviously, you're still expected to do all of the work, but being given the freedom to do that work in your own time and sort of the trust as well to make sure that you're getting stuff completed in your own time is really good. Yeah, with the later start times as well. I find it to be a lot better than what I've heard from other universities and other courses, which are very intensive. Not that this course isn't intensive, but the transition into that is really well done. Yeah, I found it to be very good. Even sitting where I am right now. Yeah, I couldn't fault it.
Well, that's a lovely way to finish up. Well, yeah. Thank you both, Francesca. Thank you, Kira, for coming on today, and Stephen as well at the end. I'm just gonna pop the final slide on here, just for anyone that's hoping to get the context information. But yeah, thank you for attending. If any questions come into your heads after the event, please use the email addresses provided. And yeah, you've got my email address. You've got all of them here, so do get in touch if you need us. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Nice to meet you all virtually.